Good afternoon again. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce someone very special to the Chicago Southland. Congresswoman Robin Kelly has had an active career in the political world, having served as Chief Administrative Officer of Cook County and later as Chief of Staff of the Illinois State Treasurer. In 2013, Dr. Kelly was elected to serve the 2nd Congressional District and currently serves on several congressional committees. She and I have some things in common. Please join me today in welcoming our champion for the Chicago Southland, Congresswoman Robin Kelly.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you all for inviting me to speak. It's nice to be home, at least for a little while. As always, Jim, it's great to be here with so many Southland leaders who, like you and I, are committed to the success of our region and our communities. I want to thank Cook County Board President Toni Prettwinkle for being here, and I've heard her say many times that the Southland region was a priority, so we all thank you for that. I want to also thank Governor Pritzker for being here. You've been in Springfield for less than a year, but I can tell you it has made a positive difference, so thank you so much. It's nice that you actually have people who want to work on issues together instead of just saying no to everything. And thank you to everyone who came out this afternoon. I know you're busy. There are deadlines and contracts, conference calls and meetings, but by being here, you are showing that economic development and tourism are a priority for you and the businesses that you represent. So thank you for being here and for your commitment to one Chicago Southland that rises together. I'd like to focus my remarks today on togetherness and cooperation. You know, being in Congress, I know all about that, togetherness and cooperation. Specifically, how these two tenets are inseparable from our region's success today and into tomorrow. In the words of President FDR, competition has been shown to be useful up to a certain point and no further. But cooperation, which is the thing we must strive for today, begins where competition leaves off. We all know that FDR is right about competition and its ability to improve us. We've all had that coach, that rival or partner who pushed us to become our best self, a self that even we didn't know existed within ourselves. Whether it's on the hardwood, in the gym, or on the track, the drive of competition makes us dig deeper, push harder, and excel. But you can only go so far on your own. We all know that old cliche. What's the problem with winning the rat race? You're still a rat. So how do we break out of the rat race and become those planning and charting the course? To go further, reach higher, we must follow Booker T. Washington's advice, because to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. We are at a pivotal moment in the Southland region. We have many amazing assets, our people, our diversity, our access to a global hub of commerce, and most importantly, our innovative get-it-done mentality. While there are certainly challenges to overcome, I know we can overcome any barrier if we work together. As many of you know, I have one of the most unique congressional districts in the nation. It's urban, suburban, and rural. I always say I have the city slickers, the suburbanites, and the farmers. And despite what you hear about the urban-rural or suburban-urban divide, we do find ways to work together. For example, my Feeding America Through Farm Flexibility Act shows how we can find innovative solutions that are a win-win for everyone. The idea started when I was speaking with some of my constituents in the city about food deserts. How is it that people living less than 30 miles from farms cannot get fresh fruit and vegetables? At the same time, I was hearing from my farmers about low commodity prices made worse by a misguided trade war. So we talked about ways for them to shift and grow more fruits and vegetables for their neighbors who have a clear economic demand for their products. It was clear that the farmers wanted to be part of the solution. First, because they wanted to help feed people healthy foods, and second, because it was a new and growing market. So on one hand, we have families living in more metropolitan areas looking for fresh produce, and on the other hand, we have farmers looking to diversify their production to serve new markets and help their neighbors. Clearly, this is a situation where we can work together and create a win-win for everyone involved and society as a whole. But the farmers cannot help because a provision in the crop insurance rules prevents them from growing fruits and vegetables on more than 10% of their land. So my bill, which has been backed by everyone from the Farm Bureau to healthy food advocates, would tweak the rules to allow our farmers to grow more fruits and vegetables for their neighbors in need of healthier options. Likewise, another of my bills, this one focused on workforce development, is also rooted in the cooperation of our community. Several of our colleges, from the South Side to Kankakee and everywhere in between, have developed and are implementing a new model for training. Instead of developing the curriculum in a vacuum and hoping graduates have the skills employers need, our community colleges and increasingly our four-year colleges are working directly with employers on the curriculum. The result is job and career-ready graduates with a direct connection to a local employer looking to hire. As we work to address our region and nation's skill gap, this is the type of common sense innovation and cooperation we need more of. Right now, the Illinois Manufacturers Association estimates that the Southland is home to thousands of unfulfilled manufacturing jobs. The greatest challenge, and I hear it all the time, finding qualified workers for these good-paying jobs. I'm proud that this model of cooperative curriculum development was pioneered and proven here, and I'm proud to carry legislation, the Community College to Career Fund Act, to create incentives for nationwide adoption of similar models. While the specifics of these bills are less important to the story, my point is to highlight how good ideas emerge from diverse audiences facing different but often interrelated challenges. That's where we need to focus, at the intersections, to do the most good. But it's not just legislative vehicles where working together and collaboratively is more successful. Over the last few weeks, I announced several $1 million in federal investments to support our region's fire departments. I am proud to say that many of the applications were joint, one department working with another, or several, to reduce costs, reduce paperwork, and maximize the impact of these tax-funded investments. That's good government. That's the value of working together. I know those are some of the villages that got some money, right? In many of these cases, departments came together to assist smaller departments who struggle with the resources necessary to successfully compete for federal grants. But often these smaller, under-resourced departments have the greatest need. If someone is already writing the application, why not add your neighbors so everyone can win? Especially when you are talking about expensive but critical health and safety investments that will protect the public and our firefighters. Because of this cooperation, 20 local departments received more than $3 million in federal investments to add personnel and make safety and equipment upgrades that would have been impossible without these grants. So yet again, we see the Southland working together and succeeding through cooperation. But it's not just legislation and grants. It's the big-ticket economic development items that will drive us into the 21st century that are also the focus of regional cooperation. Now, I know most of you know where I'm going. It's no secret that I'm a big fan of the South Suburban Airport. With O'Hare and Midway at maximum capacity since 2000 and an e-commerce boom in the Southland, it's time for Chicago to join the ranks of all other major cities and have a third airport, just like New York, LA, Miami, DC, and San Francisco. In fact, Chicago is the largest metro in the U.S. without 3 airports. In May, more than 50 leaders from the city, the south suburbs, and Will and Kankakee counties came together and signed a letter in support of the South Suburban Airport. And we could have gotten more signatures, but Governor, we were trying to rush that letter to you. We had mayors and county commissioners, members of Congress, Chicago council members, state reps, and state senators, and even the Speaker of the House on the letter, because again, we know that a rising tide lifts all boats. We spoke with one collective voice. We're the nation's 3rd largest city, even though my colleague Sheila Jackson Lee says Houston is on our heels. a global tourist destination, a hub for cargo and commerce, yet we're still beholden to just 2 airports that are already over capacity and more cannot be added. My point is, this 3rd airport will not compete with O'Hare or Midway. In short, we want to keep growing and build for the future, and it's time for a South Suburban Airport. I want to take a brief moment to thank our local legislators and Governor Pritzker for the $162 million for interchange and infrastructure investments. This is a big step forward, but it was only possible because of cooperation, our governor, our representatives, and a shared vision for a thriving, diverse, dynamic, and globally connected Southland. I also want to quickly remind everyone in the room that we have to please get involved with making sure everyone is counted in the 2020 census. We don't want to lose $1,400 per person for 10 years. We need every dollar to move our state and our region forward. And we really think we're going to lose 1 congressional seat. And if we don't fill out the census, we're going to lose 2. That means less representatives on energy and commerce, and I'm on ways and means, transportation, healthcare committees, and on and on and on. And we want to make sure that Illinois has a voice at the table. So in closing, I'm going to leave you with a thought you've likely heard before, but cliches and pearls of wisdom have staying power for a reason. They're true. This is an African proverb which states, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. My friends, we need to work together to build an entire Southland that's dynamic, innovative, and prosperous. The question is, do we have the will to walk hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, side by side into the future? By seeing so many of you here today and with our great governor leading us, I know that answer is yes. Let's be our best ambassadors. Let's be the region people want to live, work, and play in. We have talent and great people, a diverse housing stock and business community. We send our products to and welcome travelers from all over the world. We have some great parks and recreation, forest preserves, and wonderful golf courses, which I think Jim alluded to earlier. We have a lot of good to sell, and part of that good is a commitment to shared success. We have to work together, think innovatively, and keep finding real solutions. We may not always agree, but we can always work together because that's the only way there'll be a path forward. I want to thank you again. It's great to see so many friends, and I'm glad to be home. Thank you.